Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here, and please consider subscribing and do please give this video a thumbs up. We're gonna talk about budget-friendly fragrances in this video today. And I was kind of debating whether I should make a price ceiling for this video, and I was like, yeah, I should definitely make one. It's gonna be maximum 30 euros per fragrance. And for that, I kind of asked my husband, what is the inexpensive fragrance for you? How much should it cost for you to say that that's a budget-friendly fragrance? And he was like, well, 25 tops, maybe 30 euro tops. And that's what I'm gonna use for this video. So I have quite a lot of fragrances to talk through, and I'm gonna start right away, and you will find all the names of all the fragrances down below, so you don't have to write down anything. And we're gonna start with celebrity fragrances. And you see the celebrity fragrances in I do have quite a lot of them because I happen to love them. Behind me, please take a closer look. I do have this the Beyoncé fragrance, and I do think that it's a good fragrance. I will show you one fragrance, and this is a brilliant example of why you should always pay attention to celebrity fragrances, because you see this fragrance, when I bought it, and I bought it in a shops in Finland when this shop was closing and they had kind of huge sale. But this fragrance, it wasn't expensive in the beginning. It was like maybe 35 like euros tops for the whole bottle. It's 100 mils bottle, and I want to say that I got it for like 10 euros like tops. So, and this fragrance nowadays, it costs like, I want to say 120, 140, 130 in euro, and good luck finding it. On eBay, I have found this fragrance for as much as 200 euros. So, but it's not just because of that you should stock up, you know, all the fragrances. It's just that I just want to say that these fragrances have a tendency to go up in prices. And this is a brilliant fragrance. This is very good. It's white flower, it's tuberose, it's really heavy, it's really potent, it's super nice and projecting fragrance. I quite like this one. But I'm gonna show you some other example. Adam Levine by Adam Levine, but by the singer from the Maroon 5 band. And this is very nice and very cozy and calm and very warm and very sort of blankety fragrance for autumn or for like very mild winter. It's beautiful, and I got this fragrance for like around 5 euros, I want to say. It's beautiful. But as well as I just want to name a few other scents that I particularly like. I do have a fragrance that I love by Britney Spears, that is Maui Fantasy, and all the fantasy line is quite beautiful. It has a lot of nice fragrances. Some I like more, some I like less. The Maui Fantasy is one of the best. It's very tropically, it's very coconutty, it's very beautiful. I also like the fragrances by Rihanna, and I do like the fragrances by Beyoncé. They make wonderful, wonderful fragrances, and I love the fragrances by Lady Gaga. And I do know that for example, especially the Fame, the one that is like an egg and a claw fragrance. I do have two of them, and I do use both of them. They went up in price like crazy. They cost like 260 euros per 50 ml bottle, and it's like really crazy. But I do love this fragrance. It's very beautiful. So do pay attention to this celebrity fragrances. And I have one more to show you. It was an unexpected fragrance for me. It's very beautiful fragrance, and it's by Zlatan Ibrahimovic. It's by this footballer. uh, Beautiful fragrance, beautiful. It has this apple flower, apple blossom accord. It's nice, it's very springy, it's fresh, it's not overpowering, beautiful. And I do have another one. It has kind of the same bottle, but the cap is white and the fluid is blue and the bottle is white. Well, not white, it's just transparent. Beautiful, wonderful fragrances. Not expensive ones, but they have beautiful projection, beautiful sillage. They are very airy, they are very nice, they're very feminine like. Wonderful, wonderful fragrances. So do pay attention to the fragrances that are made by famous people. And I do know that there's this kind of downside to this, because some people tend not to like the fragrance if they do not like the personality. But if you can sort of step over your dislike towards the personality, and you try out the fragrance and you happen to love the fragrance, then why not having the fragrance? Why not buying the fragrance? I mean, I do understand that, you know, a small portion of that money will go inevitably to this person, but if you like the fragrance, then why not? And um, another plus side of this is that these fragrances, they tend to cost less than, for example, the designer fragrances that do have the same amount of fragrant oils, that they might even have the same nose behind them. So do please pay attention to those fragrances. Now another one is the fragrances that are like local brands, I want to say. And by local brands, I mean like for example this one. This is L'Herbolario, and this is an Italian brand. This particular fragrance, I got it on sale, and I didn't pay more than 11 or 12 per bottle in euro. So it's kind of it's cheap. It's really cheap. It has rhubarb. Another thing that I absolutely love about them is that behind them they do tend to put all the notes. So we have lemon, we have rhubarb, saffron, black tea, and musk. I have to honestly tell you that no saffron was detected by me whatsoever, but the black tea, yes, and the lemon, yes, and the rhubarb also, yes. So it's a beautiful sort of unisex fragrance for every day. And I also wanted to mention another fragrance by the same brand that is called Altea, or Marshmallow. So this is said to be a dupe for Delina fragrance by Parfum de Marly. I do have a sample of Delina. Well, I do have samples of all of them. I don't particularly like Delina because it's very rose heavy. This one is less rose heavy. In this one, at least I can breathe. In Delina, especially in this, you know, the original one, the first one, it's not a very easy fragrance for me to be in. I do kind of like more this Delina La Rosée. It's a bit lighter, it's a bit more transparent and airy. But if I'd have to choose, I would definitely buy the Delina Exclusive, because it's much more interesting, it's much more different from the other two. So anyway, we do have this lemon blossom, sweet orange, white rose, and vanilla. Very beautiful, it's very beautiful. And you can get this 50 ml bottle for like 25 euros, and it's wonderful. It has wonderful fragrances. It's not heavy. It's very beautiful. It's projecting. It's, well, the staying power, I should say, that's a bit of a downside to this fragrance. I don't consider it to be a very potent, and well, the staying power is not its forte, but it's not a bad fragrance for that money. So another one, and I want to say that it's another sort of local fragrance. This is the Monotheme Agrumi di Sicilia. This is the super unisex, beautiful citrusy fragrance. It has kind of this mix of citruses, very bright, very sparkling, very nice, and like all year round friendly. And if you're lucky, you get this fragrance at around like 10 to 12 euros. If you're not lucky, you're gonna pay 15 for it. But it's a very nice fragrance for that amount of money. Well, it's not a complex fragrance. It's quite simple one, but it's very nice. Also, when I'm talking about local scents, I don't only mean like Italian or like Finnish brands or anything like that, but just like any brands that are locally very noticeable and very famous. Like, for example, when I was in Greece, I went to this pharmacy and they had Korres. It was like Korres all around, and I have to tell you this one. I went to Greece a couple of years back, well, 10 years back, 7 years back, I don't remember, something like that. And I knew that Korres was, that it existed. But you see, in Finland, it wasn't that famous, and in Finland, I found it hard to find this brand. So I went to Greece, and I knew that the brand was from Greece, so I went with the empty suitcase. I had my suitcase plus an empty one. So I came back with the empty suitcase that was no longer empty. It was filled to the brim with the Korres products. Shower gels, body creams, divine, very beautiful ones. You know, the creams, the face creams, the fragrances. So this is not the fragrance that came from that suitcase, but this is the fragrance that I got when they kind of made this rebranding and they changed the bottles. So this is the white tea, bergamot and freesia. Very beautiful, very nice, very light but interesting fragrance, and I do love it. I do love it a lot. And I didn't pay more than 14 euros for that, and it had I don't remember, like, was it a shower gel or the body cream? It might have been a body cream next to it in the same package. Beautiful, wonderful. So do please notice the local brands. If you travel, go out, do your research, and if you're going to, I don't know, Germany, do your research and go to some, you know, German brands, and they will cost much less than the other brands, and you might truly get some hidden gems in it. So do this due diligence research before your travels. And another brand that I want to mention, it's worth mentioning, but the downside is that this brand, they don't make fragrances so often, but when they do, they make quite good fragrances. Like, for example, I do have this next to the Beyonce one, the Kiko Milano. Kiko Milano, we all know Kiko Milano, they make makeup. So this is the this one is from Kiko Milano, and that one is from Kiko Milano. They sometimes have this limited edition fragrances in their line, and this one is the Mediterranean notes, green. It's all about like recycled packaging and green, very nice clean green scent, very unisex, very refreshing scent. And that one, it came out in this 14th of February, the Valentine's Day line, and it has some chocolatey notes, very beautiful fragrance. So do pay attention. And I had bought this fragrance on discount, and I probably paid something around €7 for that fragrance. So yeah, for €7, I mean, you can't beat the price, right? And this one is one solid, very nice unisex fragrance. So I want to say that you should pay attention to the fragrances and to the brands that make clothes, because at times you can get fragrances in the same shop. I want to start with Zara. Zara, and this is not going to be a popular opinion. I do have two Zara fragrances now, this one and the other one, and I do have two sets of Zara fragrances, Zara and Jo Malone fragrances, but I don't consider Zara fragrances to be all that good. And you know what? For the price, it is good, especially if you get it on discount, and especially sometimes it happened to me to see like 30 ml bottle for like €5. Yeah, it's good, it's a good price, but you can feel that it's €5 fragrance. And this one is no exception. I got it for quite a good discount. This one is one of the Zara and Jo Malone line, and this is the Warm Freedom, and you can kind of see that this writing is rubbing off, and the fragrance itself, it's not bad. It's quite interesting, but it's not an expensive fragrance, and you know it. Like when you put it on yourself, you do know that it's not an expensive fragrance, and people around you, they do know it as well. So just keep that in mind. So Zara fragrances are fine if you're on a super budget, or if before committing to a more expensive fragrance, you sort of want to see if this fragrance profile suits you, then that can be an option, that you would go and buy the fragrance that sort of similar. And I'm not talking about that, like, for instance, if you like the Baccarat Rouge, you should inevitably go to Zara and get this Zara dupe, because first of all, I do not think that this dupe is very good. Second of all, well, it's not the Baccarat Rouge, so you will not be able to really understand whether or not you like this fragrance. But as sort of a scent profile, you might get a better understanding whether or not you like it. So, however, I'm always for getting an original and the OG fragrance. So, if you're on a budget, don't get yourself a full bottle of Baccarat. Rather have 11 ml of Baccarat, or a sample that you can get online on the official site of Maison Francis Coquetin. So I'm always for getting an original fragrance. But if you cannot, and if you would like to understand whether or not you like the scent profile, then yeah, it can be an option. Another one that I just wanted to tell you about is, and this I have to tell you another story. I was at Desigual shop, and I went on checkout, and I got something, and they told me, do you want to get this fragrance? If you want to get this fragrance, you have to pay €5 extra to what you're gonna pay for what you have chose. And that's like, yeah, just throw it in. And they did throw this fragrance in for €5. And let me tell you guys, this is one of the best fragrance purchases I made that year, for sure. It's beautiful. It's very sultry. It's very warm. It's very cozy. It's very sort of autumnal. It's very dark in a way. It's a bit smoky, but not too much smoky. It reminds me a lot of a fragrance that I do own and I do love. It is a fragrance by Nina Ricci, and it's the Belle de Minuit, which is the blue bottle, and it has the red cap. on the bottle, and it has this cinnamon vibe, and well, not the vibe, it has the cinnamon note, and it has this kind of Christmassy vibe, very beautiful. And this one, it's something along that line. It's beautiful, really, really beautiful scent. So watch out for this kind of unexpected offers. Like for example, if you go to some other shops like La Perla, they for instance, they do have this kind of offer. Sometimes you buy something and then you pay just a fraction of the price, and they will throw in the fragrance for you. So yeah, keep that in mind. Now, there are some simple fragrances that I do love so much, and they are very inexpensive, and they are very popular. I want to start with the Elizabeth Arden and the green tea. And you see, I do love the green tea, and it's not the only green tea that I have. I have several of them. I do love the original, like in this pale green bottle. Beautiful fragrance. I do prefer green tea to the white tea, as well as well, if you like this kind of scent profile, it's very airy, it's very beautiful. It's not the fragrance that one that's gonna stay with you forever. You have to do quite a lot of spritzes to feel the fragrance, but they are so beautiful. It has the green tea plus, I don't know, pear or pomegranate or any other fruit or like vegetable. They are beautiful fragrances, and they're so inexpensive. Like for example, just recently I saw this green tea, well, the classic one, for like 12 euros for 100 ml bottle. You can't beat that. You can't. Another one, and this is the new fragrance. This is the new edition of 2023. I want to say it's spring of 2023, or maybe this summer, like in the beginning of summer. I don't know. It's 2023 Elizabeth Arden New York Pulse. Very beautiful. It has some pink pepper. It has it has some berries, it has some flowers. Beautiful, very sweet. It's very sweet fragrance, but not this kind of cloying, not the sugary sweet. It's just that fruity sweet, berry sweet, amazing. The only downside to this fragrance I can see, and it's not to the fragrance, but it's to the packaging, is that plasticky cap. The cap is pure plastic. I mean, it's as plastic as it can get. And if you can go past this, and I definitely can, I love this one. Beautiful fragrance. I honestly, I suggest you go and try this one because it's nice. It's really nice. If you like this sort of berry, sweet berry, this one is for you. Now, I would like to show you some of the fragrances that it's kind of a separate category of fragrances. The fragrances that were like, that cost a lot, but it's some limited edition, and we do know how this limited edition thing works, right? As soon as it hits the shelves, it's like the next hot thing that you have to buy, because, well, everybody wants this fragrance, but that's a limited edition and it doesn't have a huge lifespan. So if this fragrance isn't sold, it's not gonna be hot thing like next year anymore. In fact, it's gonna be taken out of the shelves like maybe 10 months, 8, 10 months, and that's it. It's gonna be sent to the clearance section, the outlet section, and sometimes you can really get some gems in that. in that outlet or clearance or sales. So I just want to show you this one, and this is the Huga Boss, the scent. It's a beautiful bottle. I do love the bottle. The bottle is what got me initially, but then the scent here, it's very it's very it's sweet, not overly sweet. It's not cloying. It has cacao. It's sort of this warm. It's autumnal warmth, and it has a little bit of smokiness in it. Amazing fragrance. It is beautiful. And now I used to have the original scent, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it that much that I actually sold an unopened bottle. You know, I got the scent and I went to the shops, I tested it, and I said that, you know, I'm not gonna keep it, and I sold it. So, and since then, I was kind of, well, not very excited about all the fragrances that came out under this scent line, but this one, this is different. It has nothing to do with the first one. It has nothing to do with the second one. It's different. It's beautiful. It's opulent. It's very full. It's beautiful. And I do really think that it's one of the best fragrance, well, not the fragrance things that I got that year, but definitely in that period of time. It was during the pandemic, so I was kind of shopping on online quite a lot, and then this came in, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's just bingo, beautiful, very nice scent. And I got it online, and I got it on sale because it was a limited edition, and it wasn't so popular anymore because just couple of months after I got this one, the new limited edition came out, so it was like an obsolete, almost obsolete fragrance. The same thing we can say about this one, and this is the Nina Ricci, and this is Nina, that has a lot of lemons, a lot of citrus fruits, and the white flowers. I love this fragrance. It's beautiful fragrance. It's quite different from the classic one. I do have a classic as well. This one is like white flower, and again, this fragrance is a limited edition. So when this fragrance isn't a hot topic anymore, it's gone to the sales section, and you can truly get beautiful fragrances from the sales section, especially if you are not. If you're not that kind of person that only buys the newest, the most hot topic fragrances, it's kind of, see, I do have a lot of fragrances, right? And I do buy quite a lot, but some of my fragrances, they were the fragrances that I have bought quite a lot of time ago, and these fragrances are not produced anymore, but I do still love them. I do still use them. So for me, it's kind of, it doesn't really matter when when the fragrance was made. It doesn't really matter if I do like the fragrance, I will happily add it to my collection. And if it's a limited edition, I don't really care, because I have so many fragrances that I hardly will go out and buy another one, because I have so many other ones to use. So this one is a beautiful one as well. This one is from Donna Karan, and this one is Be Delicious Pool Party. It has, I want to say, two other fragrances. I do remember the pink bottle, I do remember the green bottle. There might have been another one, maybe a yellow one. It's the Bay Breeze collection of fragrances. And you see, this one is the limited edition as well, but it's beautiful. It's very, very nice, and I paid 14 euros for this one. 14. And when it came out, it costed like 50 something. So yeah, just go out and look for the limited edition ones, especially, as I've already said, you're not bound to getting only the new fragrances. If you don't care about the new fragrances, if you just love the notes of the fragrance and you don't care if this fragrance has been around for some time already or not. So now, another brand that I kind of think it's very underrated, and I love that brand. This is the Arden Provocateur, and this one is Fatale Intense. This beautiful fragrance. It reminds me of Angel of Mugler, but this one is kind of softer. This one is kind of everyday Angel, and the Angel is not. Well, for me, Angel is for everyday as well, but for some people, it's more like an going out fragrance, and this one can be an everyday one. It's very beautiful, it's very sweet, it's very full fragrance. It's nice, and it kind of it fills the room when you do have it on you. Wonderful. I do have another fragrance from this same brand, and this is the Eau Émotionnelle. And lately I have found that these fragrances are not very easily, well, I can't get them easily as I used to. They're not readily available in the shops, which kind of saddens me because it's a good brand and they have good fragrances and they have very beautiful underwear as well. So yeah. Another brand, and I do think it's a very underrated in terms of fragrances. This is the Salvatore Ferragamo, a beautiful fragrance. Especially this line, the Incanto line, they have quite a lot of fragrances. And these are very inexpensive. You can get them for like 20 euros for this 100 ml bottles. And they are beautiful. And the Incanto, the classic Incanto, it has this just a transparent bottle with the black lettering here, and that one, as for me, it reminds me a little bit of Allure by Chanel, just a little bit. Very nice fragrance, very beautiful fragrance, nice bottle, flowery. They do have a lot of fragrances like that, so you have plenty to choose from. Another brand, and this brand, this one, I want to say that this is the classic brand. It is a classic brand, and they do have this classic sense. And when I want a fragrance that is classic, that is classy, that is beautiful, that is very tailored, I often go to this brand, which is Burberry, and this is the Burberry Woman, and this one is a very beautiful fragrance. It's not a new fragrance by any means. It has this fragrance, well, I used to have this fragrance in yet another bottle. It had not like or maybe like even two bottles ago, two bottle designs ago. So it's quite an old fragrance, but the scent itself, the juice itself is very modern nonetheless. It's very warm, it's kind of, it's a bit sweet, it has a lot of fruits and a lot of flowers inside. Very nice fragrance. And if you compare the prices to these kind of older fragrances, like versus the fragrances, like for example the newest, the Goddess one, these ones, they cost a fraction of the price. Like this one you can so often find for 15 euros for 30 mils, and the Goddess one you can find like nowadays 30 mils for like 70 euros, something like that. So yeah, it just keep an eye open for these fragrances, for the Burberry fragrances. They do have a lot of them, a lot of beautiful ones, and even if they're older, doesn't mean they're worse. It doesn't mean they're like out of fashion, they are old fashioned, they smell like dated or they're vintage. It's nothing like that. Now, another brand that I do quite enjoy, this one is the Cacharel, and they do have several of these lipsticky shape fragrances. This one I do like. This one, it's not my favorite out of the bunch, though I do have another one, but they do have five of them to choose from. But they can make wonderful classic fragrances. They have Amor Amor, which is beautiful, beautiful fragrance. They have Gloria, that is discontinued for like years and years, a beautiful fragrance as well. They do, they make very beautiful fragrances. They make very classic fragrances, very classy fragrances, and they're very inexpensive. And for example, this fragrance, 30 ml of this one, you can find it for as cheap as 22, 25 like euros per bottle maximum. So do pay attention to these fragrances as well. Now, Karl Lagerfeld, he was quite a lot of time. For quite a long time, he was ahead of Chanel, right? Of this, the creative person in Chanel, but nonetheless, he did have his own line, his own clothes, his own bags and whatnot, and the fragrances as well. His fragrances are beautiful. He had beautiful fragrances. His fragrances are very nice. I love Karl Lagerfeld by Karl Lagerfeld. I do own this fragrance, and I do own a backup of it. It's beautiful. It's sort of everyday, very woman-like fragrance. Very like, it can be business, it can be outdoorsy. It's like day to night fragrance. A beautiful signature scent. Beautiful, and those ones are very nice too. This one especially, I kind of like that it's very it has it has orchids in it, but as well it has quite a lot of white flowers in it, and a little bit of citrus in the beginning. It's very flowery, but not overly flowery, and I do think it's kind of warm, autumn appropriate. Very nice one. It's very nice one. I have to tell you about another brand that I do like, and I do think it's very, very underrated, and this is Roberto Cavalli, and this one is just Cavalli. It has white flowers, and it has tiare flowers in it. Very beautiful one, very nice one. I got this one as cheap as 18, I guess, something like 18 euros, I want to say. It's 75 mils, very beautiful one. They do some rebranding at the moment, so you still have a chance to grab yourself a bottle for like a fraction of a price. And they do have a beautiful line that is called Paradiso, and all the fragrances are very nice as well. Another brand that is underrated as well is the Oscar de la Renta, and they do have a whole line of these fragrances. It's like different color bottles, and beautiful, beautiful bottles, beautiful fragrances. This one is jasmine. It kind of it smells like this sharp soapy jasmine, very, very particular. I don't have a lot of jasmines like that in my collection, and I do love jasmine. Very nice one. I do just, I suggest you go in and sniff in Oscar's fragrances, because they are wonderful. And I want to kind of end this video by this brand, and this brand is the brand that I have always counted on, and it never failed me. And this particular fragrance, I just got one at random, really random. This one is Calvin Klein One Summer. I do have quite a lot of them, so I just grabbed the first one that came to me. Whichever one you pick, Calvin Klein Summer, Calvin Klein 1, Calvin Klein B, in these bottles, they are brilliantly made. They are unisex, very nice. They are very clean, and they are superb. And they are not expensive, and especially if you're talking about the Calvin Klein one, the classic one, sometimes you can get these fragrances for like as low as like 50 euros per 300 ml bottle. And yeah, they're super nice. And I also wanted to say about this particular fragrance and about this line. This is the Euphoria line, and this is the amber, the golden amber gold fragrance. It's like an Euphoria, but plus amber. If you know Euphoria, it has sort of the same bottle, but instead of this sort of ambery color, it has this silver color, and the juice is like pale lavender. This one is beautiful, and yeah, I do think that the fragrances of Calvin Klein, be it the fragrances like that or be it any other fragrances, they are very nicely made, but they are underrated. And for example, I do have another fragrance by Calvin Klein. It's like right on top, in between the two candles. This is the Downtown. Beautiful, underrated fragrance, and I don't know if many people remember this fragrance. It was amazing, it was wonderful. I myself, I was lucky, I got it not that long time ago, and I got a huge discount on it. I want to say that I paid maybe 15 euros for the whole bottle of 90 mils, but it's wonderful. So yeah, so I strongly suggest you to take a look at these fragrances, and just keep in mind that you don't have to spend a whole lot of money to have a beautiful fragrance. I do own quite a lot of expensive fragrances, and I do have some of the fragrances that I paid just a handful of euros, and I do love my fragrances all the same because they are all wonderful. So if you do have some hidden gems, do please leave the comment in the comment section because I'm very curious. And yeah, bye. Thanks for watching me.